Welcome to this walkthrough on deploying the Research Gateway Trusted Research Environment, or TRE, through AWS Landing Zone Accelerator. In this session, we'll explore how a secure, scalable, and automated environment is provisioned for research workloads, following AWS best practices. Before we dive into the hands-on deployment, here's a quick overview of what you'll see in this demo. We'll walk through the key stages, from setting up the foundational network layer to running the LZA pipeline, and finally launching a secure workspace in the Research Gateway environment. To begin with, we deploy the network layer that forms the backbone of the Research Gateway setup. This includes provisioning VPCs, public and private subnets, route tables, NAT gateways, and necessary endpoints. The network layer for the Research Gateway environment is defined and deployed using the network config YAML file inside the AWS Accelerator config repository. This configuration file is where we specify all networking requirements. Once the configuration is in place, we head over to the AWS Code Pipeline console and trigger a deployment by selecting Release Change. This action starts the Landing Zone Accelerator pipeline, which takes the defined configurations and provisions a secure, scalable network foundation automatically across multiple availability zones. The pipeline triggered in the previous step creates or updates CloudFormation stacks, provisioning the full set of networking resources defined in the network configuration file. Once the network layer is in place, we extract the key outputs, such as VPC and subnet IDs, as well as endpoint details from the deployed stacks. Within the repository, there's a dedicated folder that contains the CloudFormation template responsible for provisioning the core components of the Research Gateway. The extracted values are hard-coded as default parameters inside this template to simplify and streamline the deployment. This template is then referenced in the custom configuration file, which brings together all necessary inputs, including the network outputs, to automate the deployment of the complete Research Gateway environment. With the configuration in place, we now rerun the pipeline. It picks up the updated custom configuration and triggers the deployment of the complete Research Gateway environment. The pipeline provisions all the required components, from backend services to the application layer, as defined in the configuration. As the pipeline executes, it provisions two CloudFormation stacks, a main stack and a nested one. These stacks are responsible for deploying the core infrastructure needed for the Research Gateway. Key resources like load balancers, Route 53 DNS-A records, and other critical components are created, enabling access to the Research Gateway through the configured URL. Once the stack is successfully deployed, the DNS-A record, configured earlier as a default parameter, is generated as an output. This record serves as the access point to the Research Gateway. As shown here, we copy the URL from the CloudFormation outputs and paste it into the browser. This brings up the Research Gateway sign-in page, confirming that the deployment is now accessible. On the login screen, the user needs to enter the admin email that was configured earlier as a parameter during deployment. For the password, a reset link would have been sent to the admin's email address, allowing them to set a secure password before logging in for the first time. The user is now signed in as an admin user. Once the admin user logs into the Research Gateway portal, the first step is to create an organizational unit, or OU. With the OU in place, the admin can now proceed to create a principal investigator, or PI, who will be responsible for initiating and managing research projects within that unit. As a PI, they can now create new research projects, define budgets, and assign researchers or user groups to participate in the project. Once the researcher account has been assigned to a project, the user can log into the Research Gateway portal using their credentials. From their dashboard, they'll be able to view all assigned projects and launch a new workspace tailored to their research needs, fully provisioned within the trusted research environment. Once the workspace is up and running, the researcher is able to connect to the machine and start working within the secure environment. And that brings us to the end of this walkthrough on deploying the Research Gateway Trusted Research Environment using AWS Landing Zone Accelerator. Thank you for watching. We hope this helped you understand the deployment process and the powerful automation behind it. For more information or assistance, feel free to reach out.